gentlemen, today is an amazing day. We are actually reporting about one of the strongest and amazing democracy in Africa, Ghana. And this is Dr. Yavuz Sulay, and I have Esther James as well. Because of the importance of this program, we are with Esther James. Esther, what do you think? How is the election going so far?
So far, I think the election has been going so well. Following the report from Ghana, from morning, everything was going so perfect. It was well organized, and also I think the area of the COVID-19, in terms of making sure people are on right order, was perfectly as from beginning of the election yesterday. And I'm so glad to be here with Mr. Yavuz and Mr. Mustafa to hear his analysis.
Yes, I have also Ken Norview all the way from Ghana, as well as David Gibablewu all the way from Ghana, and very important colleague and friend of mine. You all know him very well, the head of African Strategic Center in Turkey, Mustafa Efe. Welcome to News Plus.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sulay. It is actually very good to be here with you in a very important day today, which is the Ghana elections.
So let's start with a special video with our amazing coverage from our counterpart TRT World. We'll start with a video telling about the importance of Ghana for Turkey and Turkey for Ghana. And after those videos, we'll see also 3 different perspectives from Ghana, individual videos, and then we will start right now. Let's get to the video.
A major energy crisis between 2012 and 2015 had a devastating impact on Ghana's economy. Power outages became so unbearable, it forced the government to seek outside help. In stepped the Turkish-built billion-dollar car power ship, a 450-megawatt floating power plant, which is generating a quarter of Ghana's electricity requirements. There's also Aqsa Energy, which built a 370-megawatt thermal power plant, supplying another 10% of Ghana's energy needs. Ntr Tv, the regional director of Aqsa Energy, says the joint project came just in time and helped bring an end to the electricity shortage. But it's not just the energy sector that needs attention. Ghana is moving to upgrade its underdeveloped transportation network. Enter the new Terminal 3 at the Kotoka International Airport. Price tag nearly $250 million. Turkish construction company MAPA won the contract to design and rebuild the terminal. Now completed, it has the capacity to handle 5 million passengers annually, more than double the capacity of the old airport. Okan Doğan, the project manager of MAPA, says the new airport terminal will not only have a lasting impact on the country's transport network, it is helping train a new generation of highly skilled workers, especially in construction. With the increased passenger capacity, officials in Ghana are hopeful that their country can become a new regional air hub.
We think the vision to become the hub in the West African sub-region is fairly well on course. We expect that we would attract more airlines into our country.
And Turkey's investments are helping Ghana reach that goal. Ghana is one of Turkey's largest and fastest growing trade partners in Africa. Over the last 5 years, Turkey's investments have increased to more than $500 million from $190 million. And with close to 200 Turkish businesses operating in the country, trade ties are expected to strengthen further. But Turkey's outreach isn't just about building infrastructure.
Turkey has this enterprising and humanitarian foreign policy, so we are having a number of programs trying to assist African countries. It's not only that we are after trade, we are also here to help people with their needs and meet their expectations, and this is a win-win situation for both sides, Turkey and Africa.
And then there is the project that's leaving a cultural footprint on a vast scale. Even from a distance, you can't miss Accra's new mosque. The Ghana National Mosque in the center of Ghana's capital has a design that is distinctly Turkish. Once complete, it will accommodate up to 10,000 worshippers in an area of 4,000 square meters. It's part of a complex being created by the Human Development Association International, or HUDAI, which will also house a cultural center, a hospital and a school. Salman Uspanar is the general coordinator of HUDAI. He says it's not just a mosque for Muslims, but a complex that will have facilities that provide services to everyone.
This is the largest mosque in West Africa. We brought Turkish engineers and architects to design the mosque, and most of the materials are from Turkey. It is a place of worship for Muslims, but we will have facilities that will be catered for all Ghanaians.
Turkish interests in Ghana are just a representation of Ankara's growing relationship with Africa over the past decade. Turkey now has 40 embassies in Africa compared to only 12 in 2008. And it's not only about business, it's about sustainable development and a shared future. Omar Kablan, Straight Talk.
I'm Divine Ekudi, the president of the Notebook organization. I want to use this opportunity to make an appeal to the incoming president, that is whoever wins the December 7th elections, that education in the rural areas is nothing to write home about. In Ghana, it looks as if education is always centered in towns and cities. It will surprise you when you get to the villages. Children at the age of 6, 7, 8 cannot even read A, B, C, D or write 1, 2, 3 up to 10. So, I'm pleading, whoever wins should focus on education in the rural areas. This is the reason why the Notebook organization, we have a moving library that we send to the villages just to go and teach them how to read and write. There we realize that there are several brilliant children over there. Children that when they get better education, they will become great people in future. So education should not be centered in only towns and cities as we are seeing now. I'm appealing again as the president of the Notebook organization that government should go and put up schools in the remote villages. It will surprise you to see children walking so many miles just to have access to education. And this is the reason why most of the children in the remote areas don't even want to go to school. Just because there is no means of transportation. So the only means of transportation they have is what? To walk or to foot several miles to wherever they are going. Please, Ghanaians, as you listen, you can come and help. Let us support these children so that they will also achieve something in future. There are talents there, very brilliant, even more than those in cities. If they should really have access to education, they will do better. This is my message to whoever wins the December 7th election. Thank you.
I'm confident, said I'm from Ghana, the leader of Orange Women at Work. We are pleading that anybody voted into power should take interest in the affairs of women, since we are vulnerable. We need their support. They shouldn't forget us. They should keep us in mind and take care of women and put plans in action for women to avoid brutalities and sexual harassment and other activities that affect women in Ghana. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is David Babylon, the founder of Young Voices Educational Foundation from Ghana. Currently, election is going on, and it is the joy of each and everyone to see his or her political party being selected as the winner. But my big question is, what will be the impact or the mindset of our upcoming president towards climate change mitigation? When we talk about climate change mitigation here in Ghana, I may say we are lagging behind and we really miss the target. And this shouldn't be so. So the upcoming president, I put more challenge to you that when we voted into power, I can really use your office to regulate the climate change for the betterment of the whole nation and our upcoming generations. Because when you love the community, a certain community, then you must get them through the environment. And when you cannot get them through the environment, meaning that there is no community. So it should be our keen interest to fight against climate change and global warming.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you have seen, we are listening everyone from every perspective in Ghana because we do care as News Plus in this special edition with Esther James and Mustafa Efe covering the current situation, the amazing head-to-head election, which is actually a great news for the Ghana democracy. You just listened to very important people from different backgrounds. You listened to Egbel Confidence, the president of Orange Women Organization. You listen to David Gibleblo, who is the president of the Young Voices Educational Foundation. Basically, we are really trying to listen and hold the pulse from every area. You even listen to a person from the Notebook Organization, Francis Ekudi, who is a teacher and the president of Notebook Organization. So your television is Ntr TV. We are broadcasting to more than 900 million viewers. Esther James and myself, Mustafa Efe, we are here to listen to you because this is your television. And that's why I have Ken Norvivu right from Ghana, as well as David Gibleblovo right now here from Ghana, and my wonderful colleague Mustafa Efe and Esther James here in the studio. Let's get started with David Gibleblovo. David, can you tell a little bit about yourself and then tell us about the current situation in the elections in Ghana?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I am David Gibleblovo once again, the founder of Young Voices Educational Foundation. Currently, hello?
Can hear you. Can you tell,
okay, the Young Voices.
Can you tell a little bit about your organization?
I'm founder of Young Voices Foundation. This organization has been established in 2013, and we are taking into consideration mitigating of climate change and global warming. For the previous years, the Young Voices Educational Foundation has planted more than thousands of trees and has created awareness among communities, all with the sense of the climate change and global warming. And of course, the reason prompted us to form this organization is that there's this fire outbreak that occurred in Nigeria during the Harmattan season. So I've realized that something needs to be done, and that is why we formed this organization, Young Voices Educational Foundation. Now, from 2013 to 2014, we performed marvelously, and that really connected us to win the Dr. David Arnold Award presentation on climate change mitigation from USA, and it's really galloped us to a greater height. This year alone, we connected to EWTV, and they have been showcased all around the world. And To cut everything short, this is the concept of Voice Educational Foundation, why it is established. Now, currently here in Ghana, we are experiencing challenges of action towards the election. It is the desire of each and everyone, his political party, as a winner. Now, each year, every individual has its purpose or ambitions why his or her political party should be selected. When you come to me per se, my challenge is that it will be my decision or my choice to see the upcoming government put more concern in climate change mitigation. Because previously it's present. When we come to Ghana, climate mitigation is about. The previous government, they don't pay much attention to these challenges, and more awareness are not being created. But this is the only thing that is globally affecting each and every individual. So it will be my challenge to the upcoming government to put more challenge into climate change mitigation and creating of awareness, planting more trees. So that is it. Now, currently, hello?
We can hear you very well.
Okay, currently, election started yesterday, and by God's grace, we've experienced a peaceful atmosphere. There was no challenges, because when it comes to election year like this, challenges come from all angles. People become violent to do things that are supposed not to be done, and this always affects the reputation created by the nation. Ghana is known to be a country of peace, and by God's grace, we have made that atmosphere established. That after yesterday to the present, everything was cool and calm, and we are waiting for the results from the EC to declare who the winner is. And it is my expectation that after declaration, we will still maintain that reputation we created for the previous years, that Ghana is a peaceful country, and this reputation must be held with high esteem. So this is what is currently happening in Ghana.
David, I want to thank you on behalf of NTR for the wonderful work you're doing. And thank you. I am really happy on behalf of NTR TV that the democracy in Ghana is very strong. There is a very exciting competition, election, a democracy festival is happening. Regardless who win, the people of Ghana will win at the end. Thank you for your kind introduction. And now I want to turn to Ken Norvivu. Can you tell a little bit about yourself and tell us about the current situation of elections from your perspective?
Well, thank you very much. Like you well said, I'm Kenneth Norvivu. I'm currently the assembly member elect for Mosque electoral area, and by profession, I'm a teacher. I'm also a school improvement support officer. We used to call service supervisors. Now, in Ghana, we've had 8 previous elections, in which power has switched hands from the incumbent New Patriotic Party (NPP) and National Democratic Congress. It's been a hope of everybody that this year's election will be peaceful, and then the best wins. We have done everything as a people to remain focused on keeping away from violence in all spheres of this election. So education has been carried out through social media, through schools, through the very print media, electronic media. And so Ghana is poised to present itself as a big
Thank you very much for really this nice coverage. I want to turn to Mustafa in our studio. Mustafa, from your perspective, what do you think? What does this current election mean? And then I will continue the question with other guests. But from your perspective, how do you find the current election? And what is your opinion? Do you agree that this is a democracy festival?
Definitely, I do agree that because when we look at the situation, how election is conducted yesterday, it was, you see, in the peaceful and also all the observers from the international observers in the country, they credited the elections as a credible, fair, and free elections held in the country. This is actually it is not an easy situation at the moment in this COVID situation. First, secondly, just around Ghana, if we look at the situation, what happened in the several, this just in this year, in the Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Guinea, some disruptions happened. When we look at the situation, how peaceful and smoothly running the situation in Ghana right now, because approximately 17 million people, eligible voters, voted, and they went to the 38, I think, 1,000 ballot stations, and they cast their vote. So now, just now, we're expecting maybe in today, in the later, we are going to get the result. But right now, still counting is going on, and we can see that head to head in the election.
It's amazing.
That is, you see, even in the United States elections, you can't see these head to head elections. Generally, they were showing as an example to the world that how U.S. elections are actually running, and always 51 to 49, for example. It was always like that. Now we can see even closer than that one, very same in Ghana. Obviously, candidates, there were 12 candidates, and also we can see that people can put their candidacy freely.
Yes.
This is first is showing.
Yeah.
There is no prevention. Yeah. There is no obstacle for anyone to use their democratic rights, definitely. There are 12 candidates. Obviously, 10 of them not very powerful, but 2 of them, incumbent president, and also Akufo-Addo, and also former President John Mahama. Both of them, they are very powerful candidates, and also you see, John Mahama is among these candidates. Actually, he has one extra thing that I must tell, that he was born after the independence.
I see.
In 1958.
Wow.
Rest of for example, even Akufo-Addo is 16 years
before the independence.
Before the independence, he was born, and because he is also John Mahama is not very young, but still is representing the new generation or first generation of the independence of the Ghana. And when we look at from this perspective, John Mahama, and also he used to be as a president. If you remember, when John Atta Mills passed away, he replaced him, yes. And for 2-3 years. And after that, he has been nominated by his party as a candidate, and he has been elected, in 2012. But he lost to the Akufo-Addo in the next election in 2017, and now again he is running. We can see that how Rus work again, put in front of the people, are going to do it for your country, and people are going to or not. And now we can see from this election, in the previous elections, now getting great vote. Actually, not very much, because even Akufo-Addo won the elections in 2017 just with the 53.8%.
Yes.
Not much also.
Yes.
Now it is showing that how actually credible elections are going on in Ghana, not like for example, in Egypt, 96% vote for the Sisi.
So that's why you're saying Ghana is a real democracy and actually a good example for Africa, right? What do you think?
Yeah, actually, you know, in Africa, following your research and all that, most of the African countries, you find out that the current president in the election, they were once president in the country. And then somehow you find out that there are always two parties competing, two powerful parties competing themselves, that the citizens don't even tend to look at the other new upcoming ones. In this election for Ghana, what do you think the major priority of these two parties? For instance, for Nigeria, we know, okay, our current president is looking into agriculture.
Yes.
For Ghana, where is the priority of these two candidates? What differentiates the two parties in your own?
Actually, there is not much differences. Problems are same.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't matter who has been elected, who is going to be elected. At the end of the day, they are going to sort out the problems of this country, problems of Ghana. That's all. Reason is that you see, even the candidates, they signed the pact. If you remember, just in the last Friday, if any disputes comes out from the elections, they're gonna go to the court to solve.
Yes.
No other solution.
No other solution.
No others. No one is going to seek other solutions, as happened in some other African countries. So what they want, what they are offering, actually, for two candidates. Actually, not the other 10 I am not talking about, but in my opinion, all the other 10 small representing the small parties candidacies for presidency, also actually they should consider their requests and their demand from the political arena, what they want. Also, they must be included actually after the elections over. So what Akufo-Addo says actually is going to deliver in the second term, because he's second term and he cannot run for third term as well. You see, this is the one of the good side of the Ghanaian democracy also. For example, Akufo-Addo, even if he wants, he cannot be candidate for next term. Simple. If John Mahama lose this election, and in the next election, he can be president candidate for the presidency again. So what actually they are saying that for both, what they are giving as a hope to the people to deliver. You see, Akufo-Addo, because you know, in Ghana it started also free elections in the high schools. From primary to the high school, not the tertiary education at the university level, but by the high school, you know, it became this is the Akufo-Addo says that this project is gonna continue. Free education in the high school, because when you look at the education level in the African countries, actually this is very big, very big opportunity for the Ghanaian people, and also to deliver and to give as a hope to the people is very important. Second thing, also for 2020 and 2021, the academic year at the universities, he said that education is going to be free for them.
But you know, every year the politicians, they're always saying free education, free education.
No, just maybe why it is important I'm saying that. It is just maybe it can be starting point for the Ghana for free elections in the territory level as well. That is the important from my point of view, because in Turkey, as you know now, in the tertiary education at the university level, it is free. education.
Yes.
As long as the student won the university exam.
Sure.
And another thing, also another Akufo-Addo's promise to the people that 1 million university graduated Ghanaian citizen is going to be employed, and all economy is going to get powerful. But you see, we see that also from the Ghanaian current social situation, and because university graduates are increasing, but employment decreasing. So instead of taking the students to the university, maybe in the vocal schools must be open in the country more, maybe. Second, what about John Mahama? What says? Also, Mahama said his education is going to continue for the high school. Free education is going to continue, and Akufo-Addo says that another thing, 60,000 university students are going to get the scholarship for that, and also some manufacturers are going to establish in some places in the country, and also name it already. Bahamas same, also 1 million employment was the Bahamas promise. When we get their promises for both, almost same, because oil export decreasing, cocoa export is in the country. And you know that when I was in Ghana, in Accra, I saw that it is in unbelievable cocoa seeds. They are exporting massive imports.
And cassava as well.
Cassava. I brought one cassava to Turkey, you know that, to plant. Because in that time, potato price was very high. And I brought one cassava, one African potato, big, and almost 5 kg, 4.5 to 5 kg. I brought it, I planted. In Turkey.
It came out?
No, it came out, but you see, because I was there in May, and after the coming out immediately, after several months, you know, winter is coming in Turkey, and that African potato actually wants the very hot season. Reason is that unfortunately it couldn't survive, but that definitely. It can survive even in the south part of the Turkey, but that imports of the cacao is very, very important for the Ghanaian economy, and also what they should do actually to empower the people, to empower the economy of the Ghana. Maybe instead of just importing the cacao seeds, you know where they exporting? Mainly
oil.
Switzerland.
To Switzerland, to Europe, yes.
To Europe, to Switzerland. Yes. And now everybody is buying best quality chocolate in the world from Switzerland. But they are not looking at that. Is there any cacao seeds in Switzerland? No. So how they are doing? They are taking all the cacao seeds, and mainly from Ghana.
So basically, Ghana, they need to have the factory, the processing companies whereby it can generate employment for the youth, since employment happens to be one of the major things people are looking up to, right?
Definitely.
So that aspect should be able to, the upcoming government or the new one that is going to continue should be able to look at aspects in terms of the agriculture development of the country.
Definitely. And I want to add something. We have a couple more guests actually.
Please.
Welcome, David Antwi-Ofori. I want to welcome you. Thanks for joining this very exciting program. David, can you tell a little bit about yourself and your organization, as well as what do you think about the current election?
Thank you very much, Yavuz, for having me. Um, yes, I'm David Ofori, and I run the Accra Digital Center, based here in the capital. And the Digital Center is Ghana's first and foremost mini technology park. So you can call it Ghana Valley if you like. So it's a mini technology park set up to address the futuristic concerns of the youth in terms of digital innovation. So here at the Digital Center, we do all the emerging technologies from your artificial intelligence to blockchain to drone technology and what have you. We nurture startups here to be able to have products or solutions for our everyday life. And so we've been established since June 2017 here in Accra. And we train a number of young people, and we've incubated a number of young people and giving them grant funding to be able to get their products onto the market. Also, we play host. We provide affordable real estate to a number of technology companies because real estate in Accra can cost a lot of money. So this is a government intervention at solving the problem by giving affordable real estate to small and medium-sized technology companies to be able to host their companies here on site and be able to develop their solutions. So we are into BPO activities, or you are into web development or app development, all of them are based in the Digital Center here in Accra. So that is the organization I work for. I mean, going forward, we are poised to establish a few of these tech parks across the country because, as you can appreciate, Ghana has 16 regions, and we have young innovators all across the country, not just here in Accra. Although at the moment, the activities that take place at the Digital Center, we get participants from across the country. It will be good to bring the facilities that we have here, which is the first-class facilities that we have here, closer to where they are in their regions as well. So we're working assiduously towards establishing some in the middle belt of the country and also in the northern part of the country, so that it will help to curb young people from traveling from the hinterlands into the capital before they can access some of these cutting-edge technology. So I'm proud to be part of your discussion today. Of course, since growing up, I've seen elections in Ghana from the Fourth Republic since 1992. And I must say that this is the first time I've seen that there's elections happening and yet there isn't any apprehension or any tension in the air. Yesterday, even the day before yesterday, people were going about their business as if there was no elections at all, which is what we aspire to reach to. And so I think that it's been great to have that atmosphere because, again, it not only does it just affect the citizenry, but it also gives the right signals to investors, to investor confidence, to anybody who plans to invest their time or effort or resources in Ghana, anybody who has any plans to develop any company here in Ghana, or anybody who plans to even visit the country as a tourist can plan and know that, oh, actually, there's nothing to be worried about. There are no red flags. So I think that we should pat ourselves on the back as a country for what we've been able to achieve in the last 48 hours. I mean, the results are officially going to be declared at 5 p.m. Ghana time, local time. But I mean, there isn't any tensions or any hoodlums or any noise anywhere. Everybody is still going about their business today, just like we should expect to happen. So I see that going forward, there's a lot of better days ahead of us and interesting times ahead of us because we've sent a very strong signal to the whole world that we've matured in our democracy, we've matured in the way we do things, we've matured in the way we even handle election disputes. I mean, Ghana was the first country to be able, in the sub-region, that we took election disputes to the Supreme Court of the land, where the election dispute has to be settled at the apex court of the country. So all of it shows that we've gone through the transitions and the different stages of democracy, and it's a good thing for us. I know we have a very close ties and relations with Turkey. There's a lot of business between Ghana and Turkey, and we look forward to seeing that business relationship even getting stronger and stronger. Of course, Turkey is a much huge country with over 75 million population, and has a lot to offer the world. And Turkey has played a major role in global trade. And so Ghana is proud to be associated with Turkey. And of course, there are things that we can learn from Turkey. Just as your colleague Mustafa mentioned earlier on, we've started this one district, one factory concept, which is to make sure that wherever you are in Ghana, at least you can find some form of factory work or an industrial work closer to you to engage in. That way that you keep the youth in the localities they are, and they can help develop the localities that they are in without necessarily having to come to the capital and just to look for jobs that may not exist. So I think that all in all, Ghana is matured. We are poised to take on the global challenges that lies ahead of us, and there's interesting and good times ahead of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, what David is saying is very important. As someone who is really building innovation inside Accra, I'm so proud of David Antwi. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back coming to our program. Stay tuned to NTR TV with News Plus with our amazing guests, Esther James, Mustafa Efe, David Glabli, Ken Norvivu, David Antwi, and many more. Take care. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to NTR. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Africa's one of the most viewed news analysis show, News Plus, a special edition covering the Ghana elections. This is a very special day, ladies and gentlemen. December the 8th, we are covering the election situation, and it is actually a democracy festival in Ghana, and Ghana is showing as a strong democracy, an example of maturity. And across Africa, we are proud of what Ghana is achieving, regardless of which candidate is winning. We are so happy that it is going on peacefully without any major issues, and we wish the best for Ghana. That's what we're focusing on. In our first episode, we hosted other colleagues, and again, I have my dear colleague Esther James with me, as well as Mustafa Efe from the Africa Strategic Center, doing an amazing job here in the studio in Ankara. I have also Jeffrey Gahmensa, who is actually from Lornoy FM. He is doing an amazing job on the journalism and radio side. And on the innovation side, the future of Ghana is very bright, thanks to people like David Antwi, who is building technology parks and really bringing amazing entrepreneurs with investors. And he will be posed to build many more techno parks, and we will be watching him and supporting him as much as we can from Ntr TV. So with this, I want to say Ghana has a bright future. And I want to first reach out to my dear friends from Ghana, because they are coming all the way from Ghana. And we will start with David and then with Jeffrey. But David, I want to get further from your opinion. The election part is important for us, but regardless of who wins, in your techno park, how do you think you will be able to impact the future of Ghana? I know you're into digitalization. Is Ghana rising in fintech? Is Ghana rising in agri-technology? Is Ghana rising in cybersecurity? What are the areas David Antwi and many people, amazing people like yourself are building in Ghana? Can you tell a little bit more? So, because we are so hopeful about the future of Ghana.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again, and thanks to my colleagues on the panel. Yes, in the area of digitalization and digitalization, Ghana is poised to take on our destiny. It will interest you that, of course, you would have read a lot of reports from the WHO, from all around the world in terms of the COVID management, and part of the success story of Ghana has been our digitalization. In fact, when we started about 3 years ago in terms of mobile money interoperability, We didn't know there was going to be a pandemic ahead of us, but that singular digitalization has helped the informal sector, the unbanked citizens, now to be able to do cashless transactions. And I mean, imagine having a lockdown and people having to do still having to do cash payments. That would have been very, very difficult. That would mean that there will be millions of people who cannot go about their lives because they can't simply do transactions because banks have shut, long queues. But that singular mobile money interoperability has helped that people can actually move money across mobile platforms without having to leave the comfort of their homes. And so that gives you an insight into how well we're doing in our fintech space. I mean, there are a lot of local fintech companies that have really taken on e-commerce platforms, be able to do trade, do commerce, do business, and people don't have to move around. And that means that even in our fight in COVID, this has helped us. I mean, it will interest you to also know that currently Ghana is the only country that has the largest drone services in America. So in terms of health, Ghana has the largest drone services in terms of delivering essential medical supplies all over the world. Because we recognize that we cannot wait for all our infrastructure complements before we can deliver quality health care to the people in the hinterlands. And straight away, we put in some of these measures. Again, we didn't even know COVID was going to hit. The essence of those drone services was to ensure that essential medical supplies can reach people who are in the hinterlands of the country where there are no major roads or where there are challenges with infrastructure, and they can still receive prompt health care. And when COVID hit, these drone services helped to deliver test samples to the test center in record time and at speeds. So that helped us to be able to test more of the citizenry, irrespective of where you are in the country, because we had the drone services to be able to deliver on those ones. So clearly you see how emerging technologies like fintech or like drone technology, even in the area of artificial intelligence, there's a lot we're doing there in the AI. We have a huge AI community in Ghana. It will amaze you the wonderful things that the young people are doing. Even in blockchain, now we are attempting to do our land reforms using technology like blockchain. That would mean that land issues, land tenure systems will be addressed as a country. And so as an investor, if you're coming in terms of land ownership or land difficulties, all these will be addressed for you so that your risk of doing business in Ghana goes down. And also the idea of having duplication in terms of land acquisition will also go away. In the area of, again, in emerging technologies, we are also using things like cybersecurity, because as you develop your digitalization, you need to have the gateway, you need to safeguard all these digital platforms. And cybersecurity is a very huge thing. In fact, as a country, the month of October is declared as a cybersecurity month. The whole month is used for awareness, because even as we developed mobile money platforms, there are fraudsters who try to dupe people of their money transfer. So we need to sensitize the people and the citizenry of the importance of keeping their eyes open when it comes to cybersecurity. I mean, you're talking about child online protection. As more and more young people get to use the digital platforms, again, that becomes a major issue as a country, where young people will be exposed to people who are trying to do them harm on the internet. So cybersecurity is a very major thing for Ghana because the whole world is not safe until everybody is safe. So even if the West is safe, if there are loopholes in the sub-region, it can still affect the West. So we make sure that we also play our part. And as a country, we're making sure that in every digital platform, cybersecurity becomes a core part of the infrastructure. So, because assuming that even your water systems is hijacked or your electricity systems are hijacked, I mean, as a country, where do you go? So we are very much aware and very much conscious. And at the digital center here, as we nurture young startups and as we nurture young innovators, we make sure they are very much aware of the need to be able to keep all their innovation as cyber safe. So it's not just about coming up with a wonderful innovation, but how do you make sure that you don't expose your business to cyber issues and cyber threats? So these are some of the areas that we're going into. I mean, currently, some of the basic government digital services are accessed via digital platforms. So you're talking about even buying a prepaid electricity power. So if you are in the middle of the night and your power goes off, you don't have to come out of your house to look for a vendor, because you can actually use a digital platform to do so. Things like even applying for basic things like IDs, like a passport or a driver's license. All these things have now been put on the digital platforms that people can actually sit at the comfort of their homes to apply for. So it just tells you that we are taking the bull by the horn as a country, and we're taking digitization very seriously. And in fact, COVID has proven that indeed we ought to take it seriously, and it's also proven that we've done not too bad in the digital space, and that is why we've been able to manage our COVID numbers in terms of infection rate very well across the sub-region.
What you said is so exciting. You know, in Turkey, we have companies in gaming industry which get more than 800 million downloads, Good Job Games, or Peak Games actually, which just actually bought a company, did investment in a gaming company, a unicorn with more than $1 billion. So we see many different digitalization projects in Ghana, in Turkey. I can see huge cooperation, huge correlation, and creating amazing brands from Ghana globally with the support of Turkey, because Turkey is positioned very well within the region towards Europe as well as Asia. And also I see that Ghana is heading in the right direction thanks to leaders like yourself. So what was very interesting for me is, regardless of, you know, Nana Akufo-Addo or John Mahama, you know, whether it is NPP or NDC, I see a bright future for Ghana, and people are actually focusing on the issues itself rather than the personality of the incumbent presidents. Yes. That was very interesting for me. This shows the level of Ghanaians, how they are actually seriously focusing on their issues in education, in, you know, different areas in economy, in the value decrease of the city, or in terms of the, you know, secondary education, how much more it can be free, but at the same time have a higher quality education. At the same time, I see huge opportunities in terms of making sure women takes the right position inside the society, and at the same time, there are huge opportunities I see in Ghana for diversifying its exports, thanks to leaders like yourself. So we were just talking with Mustafa and Esther. We know that oil is a major export, but also at the same time, you know, cocoa is a very important one. And Mustafa was mentioning about how it is sold to Switzerland. And rather than Ghana gaining the value of the chocolate, Switzerland brand is getting the gain. So the idea is for nations like Ghana or Turkey, how to create our own brands. Yes. You know, and Ghana is a strong nation with 17 million people, 380,000 different ballot stations. So at this stage, I want to thank you, David, and I want to move to Jeffrey Gahmensa, because Jeffrey is doing an amazing job on the radio station side from Loloni FM. Jeffrey, welcome to NTR TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
Delighted to have you, Jeffrey. And can you tell a little bit about your television and your radio station, as well as how you see the current situation in Ghana in terms of elections? It's such a head-to-head election. I reported the US elections. This is even closer than the United States elections, Trump versus Biden. Here, I see a much, much closer election between Nana Akufo-Addo and John Mahama. This is very exciting and good for democracy.
Thank you. So, as you mentioned, my name is Jeffrey Gahmensa, Loloni FM, Hokwe in the Volta region. Now, in the year 2019, we were adjudged the best radio station in the region by the Ghana Journalists Association. So that's a plus to us. But let's talk about the elections now. So the elections, we did elections yesterday, and I'm a journalist, so I was in the field and I was covering the elections. I went to the remote areas, and interesting, things to record. People are so much enthused. People are so much interested in this year's election. It's been keenly contested, especially in the area or the region where I reside, in the Volta region. Now, this is a stronghold of the NDC. So the NDC, regardless of what happens, they always, win here. But the interesting thing is that for the first time in the history of the Volta region, there's a constituency called the Hoya constituency, where I reside. The NPP has won a seat there, and that has surprised, a lot of people. Now, what accounted for that victory? The energy minister counts for this constituency, and so he spoke to us that he's brought a lot of developments, roads. He's touched the lives of individuals, and so he was able to win the people to his side. That's the reason he was able to win the seat for the NPP in the political history of Ghana and let's say the Volta region. But places I went, there's a constituency called the Northern constituency. That was where I reported, and what I will say is that the people there, you speak to most of them and you realize that they are in love with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is the former president of the Republic, but contesting on the ticket of the NDC. Most of them, you don't want the NDC, to come back to power. And interestingly, you go to that constituency after the elections, after the coalition, the NDC won the presidential slot as well as the parliamentary slot. So those are some of the issues happening in the area where I cover the elections.
In terms of the parliament seat, I know there are 275 parliament members elected in single-member constituencies. So that 275 breakdown will be very important, whoever become the president. In United States, when I look at it, the Senate versus the president can be different. For the Ghana elections, is this the same situation? Like where MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo, for example, loses, but the people in the parliament member, can there be more on the MPP side, for example?
Well, interestingly, if you listen to analysts, they will tell you that this year's election is, not following logic, I should say so. It's been very difficult to predict the outcome, of the elections. Now, we are not sure whether or not we're going to have, the winning party, having the majority in parliament. Now, the others are also of the view that, they are foreseeing that we'll be having, for example, let's say if we have the NPP in power, we'll be having the NDC capturing most of the parliamentary seats, in parliament. And they believe if that happens, it's going to play to the advantage of the ordinary Ghanaian, because parliament will be holding the president, accountable. So, as I mentioned, it's been very difficult to predict the outcome of this year's very election, because it is not following any particular trend. That is what is actually happening.
You were in the area that you have seen. Are there anything interesting that you want to tell us that happened when you were reporting in your area?
Now, here is the story. Over here, as I told you, this is a stronghold of the NDC. So, what happened? The energy minister was able to, let's say, convert some local executives of the NDC, to be his followers. Now, here's the message that, look, we want development. And so if it's about development, it means we shouldn't vote on, party lines. And so the fact that you belong to NDC and I belong to the NPP, I am bringing development. So do you have to say that because I belong to the NDC, if I'm bringing development, you wouldn't vote for me? No. So he was able to convince them that, look, this is what it should be. We should vote for development, but rather not voting for political parties. So that was what really worked for the energy minister in my area here. And I will also say that you go to the North Sudan constituency where I covered the elections. The contest was mainly between the incumbent parliamentary candidate whose name is Jocelyn Tete. She's on the ticket of the NDC, a very young woman, and one Mr. Kujuata. He is the current district chief executive, for the area. Now, when parties are in power and they have their DCs or ministers, trying to contest elections, you should expect lots of resources to be pumped into those areas. And that was exactly what happened in the North End constituency per reports I gathered. I understand that a lot of resources were, pumped into that very constituency. So Mr. Kujuata can win elections. But at the end of polls and when coalition was done, the seat was retained by the the NDC. And after the coalition, there was jubilation along the streets of North Dine, people doing stunts with motorcycles and all that, and it was peaceful, I should say.
My final question before I will ask Esther to maybe share some other questions she has is, I want to really understand from your perspective and from David's perspective, what were the top 3 policy issues that drive the result of this election from your perspective? Is it economy? Is it education? Is it infrastructure? Is it COVID-19 or something else, energy or infrastructure? I mean, what are the top 3 from your perspective that will change? Because both candidates have strong promises around economy, they have strong promises around education, also making sure the police is properly, protecting the rights of the people. There are no, bribery happening. So a free, open democracy and a strong, approach. Are there any top 3 areas that you want to comment that you think will change the outcome?
I believe that's my question.
I will turn to David. David, what are the top 3 issues you think is going to be the driving force? Whichever candidate is elected will be the reason they elected.
All right, so thank you for that question, and that's a very interesting one. I must say that just a quick point in there, that this is the first time that Ghana as a country has had the opportunity to compare 2 candidates who have track records. So all our previous elections have always been one incumbent and then someone else who is coming in new. But this time around, the incumbent and the person that is opposing has also been in power before. So you have the opportunity to say, okay, in the area of infrastructure, what did they do? In the area of education, what did they do? So the top 3 things for me, of course, economy is always on top because we are a developing country. So individuals, small companies, SMEs, large companies will always look at the economic health of the company or of the country to be able to see where the country is going, because that underpins everything else. I mean, you cannot have a very good energy sector if your economy is weak. You cannot have a very good educational sector if your economy is weak. You cannot have a very good agricultural sector if your economy is weak, because all of it is underpinned by the economics of the country. And as you can see, I think that Ghanaians have had the opportunity to say that in the area of health, what did John Mahama did when he was a president against what Nana Akufo-Addo has done? In the area of education, so one of the major things that the NPP has had to its advantage is education, because as a developing country, even in the West, education is a very expensive endeavor to take on. So when the government comes in and say that, look, the education of your children, government will try and use state resources, which you have contributed part to it, to be able to help you get your children educated at no cost to you. I mean, although someone else is paying the bill. So there's nothing like free, because ultimately you are a taxpayer. So although we say it's free, taxpayers do fund the bill. But what it means is that there's no immediate cost to you as a parent. Of course, that's an exciting time, because Over the years, we've come to see that a lot of young people fall by the wayside because they've not had that critical financial support in their educational cycle. So that has been a very critical subject of discussion. So this time around, Ghanaians have moved away from just sloganeering or just making some party fanatic noises to actually saying that let's have issue-based discussion. Okay, what are you going to do for my kids' education? What are you going to do in the area of healthcare? So the MPP has had an opportunity to say that, look, we're going to introduce or we're going to revamp our ambulance services. Of course, that is part of healthcare delivery. That is not in itself the only thing that is required in healthcare delivery. But what it means is that as a developing country, now we can say that we have a reliable ambulance system that if you had a health issue or health emergency, you can call on. So for somebody, that is something that will tick their box. In the area of agriculture, someone will say, well, I live in a remote part of the country. I live in places where there are a lot of fallow lands and we have to develop the work on the lands in the area of agriculture. What policy are you bringing to help that my land produce doubles up or triples up to make sure that I can get my land produce to the market centers and get sale for it? And that is also one thing that they have the citizenry or the voters have had the opportunity to compare, that in the area of agriculture, what has happened, even in the area of food security. So as a country, while there was lockdown and there were no movements across the world, are we able to say that we have food security, that we don't need to import basic food staples from other countries so that we can survive on our own? So these are some of the things that people have looked at comparing. And even in the area of managing even a pandemic, because, I mean, nobody planned that we're going to have COVID-19 in this year. It has caused so much disruption across the world. People have seen how even major global economies like the US, like the UK, like Germany, even like China have all suffered the fallout of COVID-19. And so even the management of that alone can make or unmake the country. I mean, for the first time, the citizens have seen that probably the country, the government of the day carried them along in the management of the COVID-19 to say that, okay, even if we are using part of your taxes to give you free water or give you free light or give you small loans into your businesses so that you can keep afloat. Because the trouble with COVID-19 is when it is no more with us, that is where we'll see the real effect. How do you come out well on the other side of the curve as a country when COVID-19, the effect of COVID-19 is no more? Because that will be the countries who can quickly move their economies faster. And in fact, in the recent analysis, it's been shown that Ghana's economy has started rebounding again, and we're moving towards the right direction. So if you are a voter, you're going to sit down and analyze that even a pandemic as COVID-19, a global pandemic as COVID-19, how has it been managed so far? And so these have been some of the topical issues that people have been discussing. Of course, there are local dynamics, because these are the generic ones across the country, but there are local dynamics where every locality and the issues that they face. For some locality, if they are on the coast, it will be issues to do with fishery. It will be issues to do with how do they do their fishery business and not suffer. If you live in the hinterlands, somebody will be looking at afforestation, somebody will be looking at mining, you know. So each area and where you are in the country depends on your local politics and what your local dynamics are. But in the general, education cuts across, health cuts across, the economy or the finances or the banking sector cuts across. I mean, one of the Herculean tasks that this government had to do was to do what we call the banking sector cleanup, because, like I was saying before, the health of your economy depends on your banking sector as well. If there's no banking sector, the economy is dead, because nobody can do business, nobody can move money, nobody can do anything. So, in terms of that cleanup alone, of course, that has brought itself its own casualties in terms of people who may have lost their jobs here and there. But you could not afford to allow the system to collapse. I mean, in the UK or across the West, we had the banking crisis in 2007, 2008, and that hits the world a lot, when we had the subprime issues, mortgage lending and all of that. So it just goes to show you that the health of your financial system is very, very critical, even more so as a developing country in terms of where you're going in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. David. At the course of all the analysis being said, what is your own analysis, or what can you say? What are the expectations that the citizens of Ghana are looking forward that was lacked in the past 4 years, irrespective of who is going to win in the next coming election or who is going to govern the country? What do you think is being lacked from the past 4 years that the two candidates are looking forward for continuity in the new coming term?
Of whoever wins, one of the things that is still topical, because looking at our demographics, we have a very young population. So dealing with employment is critical. It's not enough having a very educated population when they have no jobs to do. And so people are looking forward to what's going to happen going forward. Of course, the incumbent government have started some things, some policies that is seeking to address them. But of course, both candidates are all looking at job creation. But of course, the method of using to address the job creation differs. So people are looking forward to that, because without adequate employment, then you risk security. Security issues begin to pop in, because if you have a lot of idle youth, and then they can be prone to all sorts of devices, and that means that even the security of the country is at risk. So that is a critical aspect of it to address. Of course, because we are a developing country, people are still looking forward to health, because as you develop, as people's income levels go up, they want to have their life expectancy going up as well. They want to see that they can live a bit longer than they are currently living. So healthcare is also very critical. The convenience, the accessibility, the speed at which people can access healthcare. So that is also a very major issue that people are looking at. In the area of energy stability, because if you don't have stable energy, you're going nowhere. In the 21st century, you can't do anything. So how energy is going to be stabilized and affordable is also a major thing that both parties are looking at tackling. And of course, so far in the last, I'll say relatively, the country has enjoyed stable power supply over the period, because that is a major nuisance to businesses, to individuals, to private sector, and all of that. So how are you going to keep the lights on, or keep the energy power on going forward, and make sure that it's also affordable? Because you can have the power, but it may not be affordable. As we have in our neighboring country, Nigeria, energy is unaffordable. Sometimes it's not even there. So all these things also affect investor confidence and affect how the country will seek to attract the needed finance, because all these things, government cannot find the finance on their own. You need private sector to lead on some of these things. You can only create the framework, but you need private sector to take charge of these policies and say that, look, okay, I'm going to invest $1 million into this sector, and I expect these return on my investments.
Do you have any more further questions?
And for Jeffrey, what do you think, Esther, we can ask? Jeffrey, do you have anything to Esther's question?
Yeah, Mr. Jeffrey, you are in the field of media, and media happens to be the powerful weapon in terms of election. How do you think the Electoral Commission of Ghana were able to handle that part of the media? Because I was going through the election, and I noticed that there was this limitation that was given to the media to be able to take control of the election. What do you think? Do you think this limitation was able to help the whole process of the election that made it to be successful?
Well, I think what we are allowed to do is that you can deal with provisional results, but no media house, declares the outcome of elections, but you can deal with results if you monitor media outlets like the big ones, Multimedia Group, CTA, and the rest. What they are doing is that they are projecting, the outcome of the elections. Now we have their correspondents across the country, and so after the polls are counted and the results are announced, they put them together and do the analysis. So I would say the media, we have a free hand, to do whatever we are supposed to do. We allow access, to cover the elections. We have accreditations, and wherever you go, you show accreditation, and you are allowed, to cover the elections without, any hitch. From my experience, the officials have been, very cooperative. They are willing to, give out information, whichever information you want. They are willing to, to give those information to you. So I'll say that the relationship between the media and the Electoral Commission has been, very professional. The media, were allowed to do their job, and I'll say that is the situation.
Very much. I noticed also somebody was caught and was arrested at the election poll because it was against the media rules to snap your ballot paper and put it on the social media. Do you think that act was an okay act, or it was actually warned? The citizens were warned actually, but then some citizens refused to abide by that law.
Here's the thing, for your own good and to protect our democracy, the law says that if you are going to vote, you vote and then you get out of the booth. In some places, you're not allowed to carry your mobile phones into the booth. And but as you mentioned, some instances, people go into the booth and they pick their telephones, take a shot of whoever they voted for, and then they display it on social media. Now, it is believed that people have taken monies from contestants, and so they do that and tell you that, look, when I went to the booth, you see, I voted for you, so where's my money? I've honored my promise, and to used to honor your promise. But it is wrong, and if anyone is arrested, I believe that the law, should take his course, because you can go contrary to, the laws of governing the elections. You are told that when you go into the booth, don't take a shot of, the process, but rather just vote and then go back to do whatever you are doing. Let me, share this experience with you. At one polling station in the North Dine constituency, where I covered, the officials in charge had to, engage a young man. That young man, you either, put your phone into your pocket, or you will bring in the security officials, to arrest you. So some people do this knowingly, others do it unknowingly. That's the situation.
Thank you very much for that great answer. Mr. Mustafa, what is your analysis based on what is being said with the media and also the development aspect of Ghana?
Yeah. In terms of the media, yes, as Mr. David and Jeffrey gave in the information on the ground, and actually, you see, there are rules, obviously, in the elections. And the Ghana Electoral Commission already announced that all these rules, that people should obey, obviously.
Yes.
And must obey, to everyone in the country. And if anyone who break these rules, obviously, they are going to face with some punishments in terms of to protect to the security of the elections and to safety of the elections. Yes. And obviously, to deliver to the justice for everyone. There is no party in this issue of the media. You see, even yesterday we cancelled our program just not to be part of any this type issues, of the issues. Yeah, that is very important, and also it is showing also at the same time these type of rules. When you look at sometimes people are speaking about the freedom of expression and media freedom, etc. But at the same time, Also, democracy, if we say the democracy is working with these institutions according to these rules. If even the media, it doesn't work according to these rules, such as the election rules, etc. So that is not going to be the democracy also, because so many dictators, they have the big, very fascinating media, and they are broadcasting, publishing so many things, but that is the dictators, for example, the Hitlers, you see, the administration, for example. The reason is that you see, that is the media, but media also has some restrictions in this type of situations, such as elections, obviously.
So it's obvious that Ghana election has made history in terms of free and fair election, and also in terms of the security is not as high as the other African countries' election that we have seen. Also, apart from that, they have made use of technology to hasten their result, to organize the fast of delivery of the votes from different polls. What do you think will be an impact to the ECOWAS region and also Pan-Africa?
Yeah, you see, it is going to be a very good example from now to the rest of the African countries, obviously, firstly in the ECOWAS region. Why? Because Ghana now is using the technology. Obviously, you see, time is right now. Time is the technology time.
It's technology.
You see, you have to use. You cannot resist even. You see, although everything is coming up on you. Obviously, what happened actually in the African continent when technological developments happens in the 20th century, whole 20th century, they couldn't follow up properly, because after 1957, you see, when the Ghana's independence, the other African countries started to be independent. So what happened that is in this process, these African countries couldn't follow up these technological developments. Reason is that still, for example, just to give you the example, in Sierra Leone, for example, they did not have still completely in that time normal phone lines to all homes, only in some offices, as government offices, etc. That's all. So what happened? The cell phones emerged. And immediately, without using at all any the normal line, they start to use the cell phones. You know what happened? Just they just passed the stage. You see, this is how actually things are moving actually in the Africa. And in Ghana, also we can see in some case in Tamale city, some countryside of the Kumasi, etc. You see, we can see this situation also very same. Reason is that you see right now, government is in recent years, when Ghana did not be busy with the internal fightings, they started to be busy. They started to be busy with the development of developmental issues and development of the country. Doesn't matter whoever comes to the power, because even John Atta Mills and even after that John Mahama, they had, because these technological developments are coming to the world, and you cannot resist. You see, and this communication actually is getting the easier, becoming easier communication in the African continent. Actually, it helped because people of the continent, they saw that so many developments are going on in the world. So why don't we get our share from these developments? Simple. And they question their leaders. And even when we see some promises in the elections also, it is coming to this type of promises. For example, to provide the internet. Right now, it is very, very important. And also to leave some bundles for free Or you see, they are saying that they are going to invest more to GSM operators, for example. And the reason is that you see is, although all the cables right now is coming from the internet cables from West Africa is coming, all the costs are following up, and from the East Africa it's continue. You see, in Ghana is just very, very close. It's not, Ghana is not the Chad, for example, landlocked country, you see, in the Central African Republic, for example. Yes, it is just in the coast. Yes. So it is actually using these opportunities also at the same time. When we look at the developments, how it's coming. Reason is that you see, that is very important for the Ghana, they are following these technological developments.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to NTR. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Very exciting announcements about things that are coming now with Mustafa Efe and Esther James, and also our colleagues from Ghana, especially how it will impact ECOWAS and how it will impact the relations globally for Ghana, with Turkey, with Europe, with United States, with Russia, with China. You will learn from Mustafa Efe, who is the president of African Strategic Center, and also you'll get the feedback of our guests. Stay tuned to Ntr TV with one of the top shows, News Plus, covering the amazing Ghana elections. Thank you. Gentlemen, we are back to News Plus, one of the most viewed news analysis show across Africa with 900 million people and more than 40 countries. Today, again, we are discussing from various backgrounds. As I told you, News Plus is not a one-way show. It's a two-way show where we listen to the real people who are in action. That's why we are listening to our beautiful people from Ghana who are actually working in journalism, who are working in education, who are working in technology. We just want to provide the free and fair outcome of whatever the result is. We wish the best for Ghana. And my peer, my dear colleague from Nigeria, Esther James, she's with us. And I'm giving Esther the first question. Esther, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yawus. Geoffrey, thank you again once more for staying with us through this time on this program, and thank you so much for the information you've been giving to us. But I am so curious to know, what do you think, is there any relationship between the Ghana and Turkey? We have lots of Ghanaians as students coming all the way from coming from Ghana for studies, also business. It's from the record, there's so much business opportunities between the Turkish people and also Ghana. Looking at the election going on so far, the policies, talking about education, health-wise and all that, do you think there's a special consideration between Ghana relationship and Turkey?
Is that my question?
That's for Geoffrey, yes.
So
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Please let the question come again.
I repeat again. There's a huge relationship between Ghana and Turkey. And so far there are some projects like the airport project whereby there was a contribution and from Turkey, and also Ntr TV, which has a very massive viewers from Ghana. Looking at the election and new policies, irrespective of which government will win or which government will proceed in this new term of regime in the government, what is the relationship, do you think, between Ghana and Turkey in terms of education, business-wise, or even health?
Or even sports?
Even sports, yes. We have lots of good footballers, you know, from Africa and coming over to Turkey. What do you think, there's any special space or plans for Turkey relationship and Ghana?
All right, thank you for the question. So let me concentrate on sports. When it comes to sports, you know that Ghana has got a very good relationship with the country Turkey, and we've got quite a number of footballers, playing their trade in the Turkish league. Some are in the lower divisions, others are in the Premier Division. We can talk about a player like a former captain of the Black Stars, Stephen Appiah, who was once, with Fenerbahce. He did so well, and we've got other footballers who are equally good and equally play in Turkey. Not quite long, I think, in the year 2013, there was a friendly game involving Turkey, and Ghana. Now, these activities strengthen the relationship between countries, and what I'm hoping for is that this relationship will continue. I'm hoping that the Ghanaian footballers, in Turkey will be, allowed more opportunities, to ply their trade, and hopefully that will have an impact on the Ghanaian economy. Of course, there is always this cry that the Ghana Premier League is not very attractive if you take a look at the salaries which the players are being paid. As a result, most very good footballers we have in the country move elsewhere, to ply their trade. And one of those destinations is Turkey. You come to Turkey, you play in the Turkish league, you are paid good money, you send some money, into the country, and it helps the economy. So I'm hoping that this relationship will continue.
Aspect of it. Hello, sir?
Yeah.
The business part, we will ask to David. Maybe because David is in technology and business. Esther has a great question, David, for you. In the next 4 years, whoever the president is, and Esther has that very good question in terms of how do you think the relations between Turkey and Ghana can develop better?
Can develop better in terms of business. Turkey has a massive market in terms of textiles, and so much transaction has been going. There's good relationship, business relationship between the government of Turkey and Africa. And so far there's a massive business transaction between Turkey and Ghana. So in this aspect, what do you think the future holds in terms of business in this aspect of it?
Thank you very much, Esther, for that question. I think that if you look at it closely, even just this year, there's been a partnership signed. It was July this year. That was signed between the Turkish government and the Ghana government to set up a bilateral chamber of commerce, which will look to establish some logistics center. Because, of course, as Turkey seeks to expand its market frontier, logistics is also very critical in terms of the supply chain. Currently, the trade relationship between Ghana and Turkey comes to about $500 million. Of course, if you look at the years of friendship that we've had, $500 million trade isn't really enough. I think it's woefully low. We can do better. That's why, of course, Turkish Air has a base or has an office in Accra and has a very good flight coming through to Accra on a daily basis. I think going forward, yes, you talked about textiles, and I think there are other things that even as Ghana seeks to, depend on whoever comes to power, even as Ghana seeks to consolidate its gains on the one district, one factory policy, I think Turkey will play a major role in that, because you have a lot of that already in Turkey. You have a lot of manufacturing and industry in Turkey. So there's a lot that Ghana can learn from Turkey, and there's a lot of knowledge transfer that can happen, and also a business. So there are a lot of opportunities that Turkish businesses can take, so that even as the Ghanaian business people who travel to Turkey to buy products, you can actually decide to bring some of the manufacturing bases here in Ghana, so that they don't have to come all the way to Turkey to buy them. So that way, there's a skills and knowledge transfer, but at the same time, you'll become a direct player within the market, so that that even Ghana can become a base for Turkey to even supplying for the West Africa market, because the West Africa market is poised to be coming up to about $1 billion in a few years to come. Nigeria alone is poised to become bigger than the whole of Europe in terms of numbers in the next 10 to 15 years. So there's a huge market. The West Africa market is huge, and the continent at large is huge. So I mean, West Africa, we'll be talking about 500 million people, and there's a lot of young people here, which means that as whatever investment that is put into the West Africa region meant that there's a whole long-term future for businesses to recoup their investments because of the demographics of the region. So again, even in the area of security, Ghana does a lot with Turkey in the area of security and logistics and support. Of course, Turkey is more like a big brother in terms of their market size and population and everything. So Ghana learns a lot, has a lot to learn from Turkey. But I think that we also have a lot of resource base here in Ghana in terms of raw materials that can help the industries in Turkey, even in the area of cocoa, even in the area of other materials like timber, like gold, and all that. So there can be a lot of relationship there. We can go into jewelry manufacturing. I know Turkey is very good in those things as well, and we have the raw materials here. So we can find the synergies and where we can actually come together to bring value to these raw materials, and also take advantage of the markets that both countries present. Of course, Ghana is a country of 30 million population compared to Turkey of over 75 million people. So clearly, there are some things that both countries can benefit from. I'm sure that Turkish Airlines will have a lot of testimony to give.
For that insight, thank you so much for that, Mr. Yawus. What do you have something?
Yeah,
to
I
say?
mean, what I am interested is, when can I host Jeffrey Garmez and David Antwi Ofori here in Istanbul, in Ankara? You guys are amazing, both in media and technology.
Yeah.
From the bottom of our heart, I want to thank you, both of you, for providing, we are talking about the future of Ghana here. When we say the future of Ghana, it's not just about the elections. It's about technology, it's about media, it's about, trade, business, innovation, education. So we are here as your brothers. We see Ghana as our brothers and sisters. I say it from the bottom of my heart. There is no racism, no preconceived notion. We want a strong Ghana. We want a strong Africa. And actually, Esther has a great question for my dear friend and colleague Mustafa. Yes, with that, we will continue.
Analysis, and so far we have been hearing a whole lot of positive information all the way from Ghana in terms of technology, which is my key interest in the whole process of this election. I am so wow in terms of the technology the Ghana Electoral Commission has taken it in this aspect. And just as what Mr. David mentioned, that the government are actually putting effort in terms of technology, that's the coder and all that. So how do you think this is gonna impact, like using that as a yardstick, as an example, to be able to enhance other countries, like Nigeria have not done their own presidential election, which is coming up, and from history we know there was always this chaos between the two parties and all that. How do you think this election should be a yardstick, an example to ECOWAS and also Africa, and in fact other countries at large?
Yeah. Actually, also we have to just mention that at the moment currently, the president of the Ghana is also president of the ECOWAS, as you know, right now. Yes.
Yes.
And now Nana Akufo-Addo is also at the same time he is the head of the ECOWAS as well. Yeah. And even he went, they tried to meditate, in Mali after the coup issue, if it happened in Mali. Even they tried to meditate. you know, is how it is going to be example for whole, obviously, first ECOWAS region, after that entire Africa, how can be? Because you cannot resist to use the technology. And
Yes.
Ghana now is using, and also it is using this technology to contribute its development of its democracy, actually to make sure it is democracy. So it is going to be, I hope that it is going to be example to rest of the other African countries as well. Instead of the clashing after the elections, just use the best technological tools to get the best result and finish up this issue. That's all. If you remember, just in the even in the soccer, while they are playing, before having these cameras, etc., while they are playing, you know, did ball pass to the line or not?
Yes.
There was big issues right now. But now they put the camera. Now, if you have any debate, just you check the camera. Simple. The very same thing. You see, this is the game. You see, and if it is a rule, it has a rules such as like this election. Also, it has a rules. Just we have to follow up, and technology is going to contribute actually to this issue, and not only the ECOWAS. Obviously, rest of the African countries as well, because Ghana led the African countries to the independence by gaining first in the first African country to gain in the sub-Saharan Africa its independence was the Ghana in 1957, which is led by the Kwame Nkrumah. He is the actually hero of the independence of the Ghana. And he led the African countries also. He tried to unite the African countries. He tried to bring the African countries together, and also he fought their independence as well. Even in his independence speech, he was saying that if just we have he says that exact words. I don't want to add any word to his words. Yeah. We have won the battle and again rededicate ourselves. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. You see, that is actually what the Nkrumah inspired the rest of the African countries to lead the community leaders to the independence by inspiring them. You must you must gain your independence by fighting against these colonial powers, because the Nkrumah's convention. Actually, he also experienced. He lived in the United States. He got his education there, and in theology, public administration, etc. And also after that, he went to continue to study even in the UK, United Kingdom. He saw actually both countries. After that, he started to lead these independence movements first as a student, after that as a leader in Ghana. And when they got the independence, because freedom for him it was very important, because in that time all the African countries, while they were under the colonial administration, they couldn't have that self-confidence in the African continent as a whole, not only the one country, two country. South Africa is under the apartheid regime, and Tanganyika is under the British administration, first German colonialism administration, after that British colonial administration. Kenya under the British colonial administration, and Angola under the Portuguese colonial administration, and German colonial administration. Congo Kinshasa is under the Belgian colonial administration. For under Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Senegal, etc. All of them francophone under the French colonial administration. All of them, they were suffering, you see. And Nkrumah actually gave the hope. Ghana gave the hope to African countries in that time, to whole African countries. So this hope today, again, with this under these technological developments, Ghana is going to give the hope again to the rest of the African countries.
So like this democratical festival, like
Yes.
this example we're seeing,
Yes.
we're actually remembering Nkrumah and what he did in terms of the African Union. And Ghana was an example at that time, in
Yes.
the 60s. Ghana is again an example.
After 60 years.
That's just
Now
amazing.
it is the 60 years,
In democracy.
60th anniversary of the Ghana's independence. They just celebrated. And also, Nkrumah led to establish the Organization of African Unity, now African Union, when it was in the 25th of May 1963. It has been established, and it was the headquarters of the African Organization of African Unity. They actually selected to Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia, one of the oldest empire and independent African country in the continent. And also, Nkrumah got married a woman from Egypt.
I see. North
Why?
Africa versus West Africa.
Because actually he served, and his idea, his approach was also to meet with the North Africa to the rest of the African countries and to establish the United Africa, United States of Africa, actually, maybe. That was actually a great idea. Even he became actually Pan-Africanism idea from Marcus Garvey, etc. Actually, obviously, they championed for the Pan-Africanism, but in the political arena, the idea of the Pan-Africanism just became very clear statement in the hands and in the tongues of the Nkrumah.
At this point, let me turn to David and Geoffrey about this very important point you're making. You know, the African Union. What do you think? Because Geoffrey talks about soccer as a media, and soccer is another way to unite people, unite their hearts. And David is talking about technology, and technology is another way, like, Esther said, in improving the democracy in elections. So in terms of both Geoffrey and David, whoever wants to talk first, from what Mustafa has mentioned, do you think this election will also even make Africa stronger and unite stronger all Africa in terms of economy, in terms of democracy, in terms of education? David or Geoffrey, whoever wants to start, I'm very curious what you think about what Mustafa is saying.
It's interesting Mustafa referred to Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who moved on to African Unity, what we have now established headquarters in Ethiopia. And interestingly, this year, Ghana has become the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area. So we host the headquarters of the Continental Free Trade Area, which is now going to propel business. Remember I talked about earlier in terms of our relationship with Turkey and how businesses in Turkey can use Ghana as a launchpad. I mean, this year we had the likes of VW doing vehicle assembly here in Ghana and using Ghana as a platform to distribute across the Africa region. So the Continental Free Trade Area being headquartered in Ghana presents another very good opportunity for the country's development and even for the continent's development, because I mean we've been battling this for years since independence of how the continent can have a common market, freedom of movement and goods and services and people and all of that, and that's become very, very thorny issue as far as the people of the continent is concerned. I mean, sometimes it's easier to fly out of the continent into Europe and fly back into another African country than to try and move directly from your country to that country. You know, why should that be? I mean, Europe. Sorry, I didn't hear you on that.
Spot on what you're saying, David. So we want a more unified Africa. Even though, you know, we are in Turkey, we see the potential of Africa with 1.3 billion people, with young, very bright, very strong, you know, people. And that's why Mustafa is saying, you know, and the same point, why the transportation is not easier between Ghana and, for example, East Africa, with Kenya or with, you know, with Congo or with South Africa versus Turkey or Europe or Russia or United States. We want to see, you know, even though I'm a Turkish, I want to see a united Africa, because with a united Africa, it can solve its own problems much faster, and it can also benefit more trade, more business, and better value for the entire world. That's what I see as a Turkish guy, you know. And I'm very curious what you think, David and Geoffrey.
Because, you see, we've been battling this because historically the continent have not had very, I would say, very decent friendship or business relationship like we have with Turkey now. Before, all the relationship we've had has been divide and rule kind of relationship. So there's been so many barriers up, you know, so that Kenya is not prepared to do business with Ghana, but they want to do business with Portugal. Or Mozambique who want to do business with Czech Republic rather than doing business with Ghana, because there's always created this suspicions amongst us. And all these regulatory protocols and barriers have also not helped to do business. So it makes it expensive to do business across the continent. And so I think that the Continental Free Trade seeks to address that issue. But I think more importantly, when we have relationships like what we have with Turkey, being a more of mutual agreement, mutual respect, mutual benefit relationship, that way we don't seek to, if you like, capitalize on each other's vulnerabilities, but rather seek to empower and see how best we can help our friendship so that we all become winners. And I think that going forward, as we seek to develop and grow as a continent, and believe you me, whether we like it or not, the continent would have its own fair share of superpower, because when you have more than 50% of your demographic being young people, and Europe is struggling with population in terms of the aged, Japan has issues with that. So clearly, when you need the market, when you need a workforce, you look to the continent of Africa. And also we have the resources, the natural resources. And that's why, I mean, we had Nissan, we had a VW coming in, Nissan is following suit, Toyota is doing the same, to have all of them having assembling plants in Ghana. It is not by fluke, because these are well-established international businesses, and they would have done their research and their homework very well to know that what they're doing will inure to the a good return on their investments going forward. Of course, they are not charities, so even as they seek to bring their manufacturing plants here, they have to get a return on their investment, and that is a fair deal. And I think that we need to be looking at more of that relationship. I'm of a firm belief that I don't even believe in aid. I'm a firm belief that if Turkey want to help Ghana, we should let's do business. We can get more done in business than Turkey trying to give, oh, just take this $10 million aid to do this. No, let's do business. I make my profit, and I use my profit to do what I want to do as a country. Because a lot of times we use this aid to also stifle development, because you tend to use the aid to detect where development should go. But I understand my country, I understand the demographics, I understand my people, I know where they're struggling, I know where the development is most needed. So if I make profits from the business that I do with you, whatever the percentage is, even if you are taking 70% or 30%, whatever it is, as long as it is my money or my return on investment from the trade that I've done with you, I can decide where to put those investments. And that is why, as a country, for instance, we're putting a huge amount of our oil proceeds into free education, because we think that oil is a finite resource. It's a finite resource which is at some point it will run out. if you don't diversify your economy for people to look at alternative livelihoods and alternative ways of doing business, and they're all going to rely on oil, then when the oil runs out, what happens? You're going to have chaos. So let the people develop your human capital, your human skills, like we're doing in technology. There is no finite to technology and in innovation. And if you look at countries like Qatar, countries like Dubai, the UAE, they are all now moving away from oil to other forms of development. So that way, the citizens are not stifled, and also they can then have control over their own destinies. And I think that that's what we should look at. So the continental free trade will come and hopefully will address some of these barriers that we face as a continent in terms of transport, in terms of moving goods and services, doing business. I should be able to go to Nigeria with ease. Currently, we already do to Nigeria, but we don't do so well with East Africa or even South Africa or even North Africa. And it becomes so difficult, so laborious trying to move around and doing business with amongst ourselves as a continent. And I think that hopefully we'll address that through the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
I love your heart, I love your positive spirit and your frank approach. Similarly, for my dear friend Geoffrey, do you think, Geoffrey, sports as well as media can unite further rather than divide Africa? And how can Turkey help that situation?
Especially Ntr TV,
yes,
as a medium.
All right, so I would say that sports is a very important when it comes to development and unity. I think that if we want to talk about Ghana and Turkey relationship in terms of football or sports, what we can do is maybe we can start what we call exchange programs. You know, you can have national team coaches from each other's country, you know, come to understudy each other. We can do, you know, exchange courses, you know, for referees, and you know, that'll go a very long way to, you know, help these two countries. And you're talking about how NRTV, you know, can assist. I'm not certain how very deep you're into sports, but maybe you can acquire the rights to broadcast some of our Premier League matches. If we are playing any friendlies in Turkey, not quite long, we played, I think, one with an African country, one with Mali in Antalya. You can acquire the rights to broadcasting those matches for us to strengthen the relationship we have, you know, with the country Turkey. But you know, moving on, talking about the elections and the effect it will have on the rest of Africa. Of course, there's this saying that Ghana is the hope of Africa, the beacon of hope of Africa. When you talk about peace in Africa, Ghana, you know, is number one. There is media freedom and all that. Now, here's the thing. It is interesting to know that our institutions, we've got some African countries sending delegations to come study our institutions. For example, the local government system, our electoral system, how is it done? They come here, study us, and then go to their countries and, you know, and then implement, you know, those systems. We can also talk about refugees, people, you know, who are running from misunderstandings, you know, conflicts in their country, people from the Ivory Coast or the sub-region, Togo, for instance. For example, where I reside in the Volta region, we share a common border with Togo, and the language is almost, you know, very the same. You see, somebody's bedroom is in Ghana, but he has a farm in Togo. So he crosses the border, goes to farm in Togo, and then comes back home, sleeps in Ghana. So if the elections, if Ghana will survive, you know, it will have a very positive impact on the unity, you know, in Africa. And you talk about media freedom. Of course, the whole Africa is looking up to us. People want to learn from Ghana. How is Ghana going to do this? Is Ghana going to survive? So the point here is that Ghana cannot afford to fail. We must succeed during this election, and I'm sure that is what is going to happen, because we are doing, you know, everything right in a democracy to succeed. So you talk about the elections. If it's done well, I'm very certain it will have a very positive impact on the unity of Africa.
I want to thank you both. For the next 10 minutes, I want to really focus on Mustafa Efe, because he has also great, you know, ideas, including maybe starting to, do the banking system stronger inside Africa, and also maybe starting to publish money inside Africa rather than outside Africa. And we were discussing about those things. But for the next 10 minutes, because we will close in 10 minutes, what do you think about the Turkey-Ghana relations and how this election will impact Turkey-Ghana future? Because I am so proud to see my brothers David and Geoffrey providing amazing work with Esther. What do you think? What will the future hold between Turkey and Ghana after this election?
First of all, you see, we have very long relations with Ghana as a Turkey, because just after the independence in 1958, our relation started, and in 1964, we established the embassy in Accra. You see, when you compare to the just when you think the whole continent, by the 2012, we had just 2010, we had just 10 embassies, and one of them was
in Accra, Ghana.
In Accra, because we very closely followed up the independence of the Ghana in 1957 as well. And after the 1981, because of some economic problems from Turkey side, we closed down our embassy. But in 2010, we reopened our embassy in Ghana. Because also in Ghana, obviously Ghana experienced, such as Turkey, you see several coups in history. But since then, especially 25 years, democracy is getting mature
and stable.
Yeah, and also in Turkey, you see, we are following up very closely. It is Ghana's development. What is happening, and our economically also, especially President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, after being actually Prime Minister, our relations with the amazing speed actually increased with the African countries.
Yes. And with the 2005 African year for Turkey,
we announced as a 2005 as a year of Africa in Turkey, and by now almost 28 president as a prime minister and president. Erdogan visited 28 African countries.
Wow.
And in 2016, 1st of 29 February and 1st of March, President Erdogan visited Ghana also in that time. And also from the Ghana, John Dramani, in that time, in 2011, as a president of the Ghana, he paid a visit to the Turkey. But our, I must say that in terms of economically, our trade volume is very low.
Yes.
When you compare to the Ghana's trade volume, you see right now.
We need to bring David to Turkey.
We have to.
Geoffrey about more soccer match and how to actually get the broadcasting. I love that idea.
Yeah, have so much knowledge.
Definitely.
So
and you see, it is actually to have the you see, soccer issue is very important issue. Yes. Not only in Ghana, actually, the other African countries. So they are exporting the soccer players.
Yes.
You see, and for us is very big opportunity actually to have David and Geoffrey to have this perception actually from the Ghana side, because right now our export to the Ghana approximately $400 million.
It's very low, very low.
And our import from the Ghana only $100 million. Well, you see,
so the entire volume is $500 million.
That's all.
Yeah.
You see, it is very little, very little when you compare to how big volume actually we have the potential. But what's happening today? Ghana is importing so many goods from the European countries, mainly UK, in a very expensive price. Please, from here, just we are asking for the businessmen of the Ghanaian people in Ghana, please just come by from Turkey. Previously, you see, Ghanaian also people, they could not travel, as I mentioned previously. When they get the airplane from Accra, they had to go to London. After that, from London to Istanbul, they could come. But right now,
there's a direct flight.
Direct flight from Accra to Ghana. You see, from here, just when we take at 5 o'clock, 5:55, the flight from Istanbul. At midnight, at 12 o'clock, I was in Ghana, and my fellow friend Alfred, just greetings from here to him. Alfred met with me at the airport just in 6 hours' time. That's all. You see, this is the very big opportunity actually to have to improve our relations between Ghana and Turkey. Also, Ghana, you know, is Kofi Annan, you know, former UN Secretary General, was from Ghana. Also, John Kufuor time also, you know, that he and because when Kofi Annan's profile, why he has been elected, for example, as a UN secretary, you see, being from Ghana is very important.
Prestigious.
Definitely. They must aware of that also, my fellow Ghanaians, about this issue. And the reason is that, you see, our relations are very good right now as a Turkey. Also, we have some school programs. At the moment, Turkish Maarif Foundation is running schools in Accra, which I actually contribute to start in 2018. And TICA, Turkish Development Agency, is having the programs, some programs. And you see 7 days flight, Turkish Airlines, that is also very important. And also so many students under the scholarship program, they are studying in Turkey. But also, I am expecting from government of Ghana, and also instead of sending the students to study to UK under the scholarship program to study in the United States, please, they must send some students to Turkey as well.
Which has Turkey has a wonderful educational system.
Definitely.
And she has her own personal experience.
Yes.
She's a successful businesswoman and, you know, educated and inspiring role model as a woman in Nigeria now.
And as an example, also as a witness, you see, the direct witness, you see, to Turkey. Actually, we are expecting from Ghana, from the government of Ghana, after this election is over, anymore, we must concentrate on the business. We must concentrate on the education. We must concentrate on the political contribution in terms of the climate change into the world, in terms of the social problems in the African continent, for example. As a Turkey, we can contribute some. Also, Ghana can contribute to so many things. You see, we as a Turks, we have to have the right information, close information, eye-to-eye information from the ground as well, because that is very, very important. You see, when I traveled to Cape Coast and to Elmina, also, I have chat with lots of people from the Ghanaian people. Even, you see, my phone left in taxi, one of the taxi drivers, and and we contact with him, and my phone back. You see, it was in front of the...
Very sincere and people.
Definitely. From Islagan, my brothers Jeffrey and David knows, from Islagan to the entrance of the University of Ghana, I went there, and I waited there, and they brought back.
That's amazing.
And you see, for Elmina and Cape Coast, you see, there are actually very painful history is there. And you see, when we look at the studies, into history studies, we have to establish, we have to rewrite our history. We have historical relations, but we don't see in the history books right now.
True.
Even, you see, what I have discovered that in Ghana, I pay visit to archives and schools and some bookshops, etc. Also, I got some textbooks from school textbooks. And history is not, there is no history. You see, it is like in the books, history is starting from by giving the history of Europe in the history textbooks. What actually
the humanity has started from Africa.
From
what
Africa,
are you talking about?
But
and
no,
that
you see,
has been always ignored.
you see, Dogon Ashanti culture, you see, is a very great culture, great kingdoms of the Ghana Empire actually was there. And you see, in those days, this colonial legacy, they just pressed on it and they did not show the people. Reason is that you see sometimes you can see that people, they don't have that self-confidence that they can manage something, you see.
Mustafa, I want to say that I have seen this self-confidence in Jeffrey and David and all the other guests.
Yes.
This is our last 1 minute. Yeah. I want to take your last one verse and then David and Geoffrey's last verse to close. What are your final opinion? Because we have to have another program maybe with you, David and Geoffrey, focusing more on Ghana.
Yeah. Yes,
but what are your final words about this in general, this election, and also the current situation?
Just I hope and pray that for the prosperity of the Ghana, these elections election results is going to give the very clear ways to see their hope for the people.
Excellent. Because the hope in Ghana means hope in Africa.
Africa, definitely.
David, what are your final words? I want to get your final words, David.
Yes, right. So my final words are that, yes, we are grateful as a country to all our friends around the world, including Turkey, and all our partners, development partners, and for such a successful elections we've had yesterday. Whatever the outcome is, the country wins, and we hope that as we go forward in our development agenda, we'll form more strong bilateral relations and friendships with mutual respect, where we will see both partners or both countries benefit, and that the era of countries taking advantage of other countries' vulnerabilities will stop, so that as a world we will seek to meet the vulnerable in society as well. Because as we develop as a country, that means that we'll try to alleviate poverty, and will mean that we'll bring up more and more people who have vulnerabilities. So I wish Ghana all the best, of course, but also I wish Turkey all the best in all your endeavors. And that we hope that our friendship and our relations get stronger and stronger going forward.
Let's move to media. Jeffrey, what are your final words?
Well, I'll say it's been great joining the conversation. I'm very happy. And what I'll say is that we should know as Ghanaians that Ghana is bigger than any political party, whether NPP, CPP, GUM, or whatever. Ghana is bigger than any political party, and this election is just to select our leaders. And so no matter what happens, let's ensure that we continue to be the example that we are to the rest of Africa. Thank you.
Let's get your final words, Esther.
My final words for today is God bless Africa, and I pray for unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm closing with Esther James' beautiful word and prayer, let's pray for the unity of Africa, and Ghana is the hope of Africa. We wish only the best and best from Ankara, from Turkey, and looking forward to a bright future with people like David, Geoffrey, Mustafa, Esther. Please stay tuned to NTR every day, every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Ghana time. Take care and all the best. Dr. Sly giving you the best of everything. Take care and stay tuned to NTR TV. Bye.